Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as per usual, let's go over Tesla, let's go over the market, and let's figure out what is happening today on the first day of December. Fresh start to the month. Yeah, let's just discuss it and let's talk about it. So with that being said and done, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button as it does help a lot. This is not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. And of course, my membership section on YouTube is live. The link is down below in the description of the video. $3 a month, you get access to my intraday thoughts on Tesla as it's moving throughout the day and updates as such. So again, if you're interested, link is below. We're almost at 300 members, which is great to see. So thank you for that support. But jumping right into a Tesla closing in just about a minute or two here, it looks like it down on the day for about 0.5%, which unfortunately compared to the market is a bit of an underperformance, obviously. But with that being said, you also have to take into account the fact that it was a substantially more red day in the morning. We were down. Actually, let's see exactly how much were we down from yesterday's close to the lowest point of the day. We were down about 3.5% at the lowest point of the day, and we recovered the vast majority of it, right? About 3% of that has been recovered, with about 0.5% left on the table, of course, which is pretty good, right? Obviously, you can see that by this beautiful, nice green candle. And that's what I was telling my members over here. Where was one of the first posts I made? I think it was this one, right? I can't remember where exactly I said it, but pretty much the idea I was telling my members, I wrote a lot, I don't know, somewhere, pretty much the idea I was giving my members is the fact that obviously, there's still important levels to pay attention to. Obviously, this can turn bearish, but I feel bullish. Like I still feel bullish. And the most important thing is as follows. So there's two things that happened in the morning, right? That, in my opinion, are important. First and foremost, we were trading around. Let me see if I can find the candle. We were trading around that 21 EMA for the vast majority. I think it was right here. No, it was before this. I didn't post a picture of it specifically when we were trading around the 21 EMA, but we were trading around the 21 EMA, which is this bottom yellow line, for like the first third of the day in the morning, I would say, roughly, right? Just kind of chilling around it, really, until really Powell. Once Powell came on, I think it was 11 a.m. Eastern time, I believe. That's when the markets actually kind of ripped higher, and Tesla really ripped higher, right? Like, it really went up significantly relative to where it was in the morning, right? Like I said, we recovered about 3% of the total 3.5% we were down on the day. But regardless, the markets are all looking pretty good, which we'll briefly talk about soon as well. But the point is the fact that we bounced off the 21 EMA. That's great. That's what I want to hold. Like, ideally, holding the 21 EMA is good. Like, you want to hold the 21 EMA because that's kind of like a short to slightly medium term momentum indicator, if that makes sense, right? Like, above it, you're probably going up. Below it, you're probably going down, or bullish and bearish respectively. So the fact that we went below it, maintained it, and went above it is great. Now, another thing to pay attention to that makes it maybe even more simple than that to pay attention to whether or not we're still bullish or bearish is going to be these blue lines going up to the right here. Essentially, we are in this rising channel, right? Ever since the lows all the way back in 194, we came down, touched it here, and then we almost got close to it once again over here with the bounce relatively close to the bottom of the channel again, but not so much. And then, of course, we had some touches here, we had a touch here. So ultimately, we're in this rising channel. So as long as we're in this channel, technically, we're bullish. If we fall out of this channel, which at the moment, if let's say that happens anytime really next week, pretty much losing 230 would be arguably falling out of the channel, right? If it happens like early next week, then it'll be like a little bit lower than that, like 227, 228. But to make it simple, around 230, slightly lower maybe, is the level that's extremely important to hold for many reasons. Like I said, it's pretty close to the 21 EMA, right? It's just 230-ish levels, just this level of support that ideally, I don't want to close below, because you can see as we went sideways, we went below it, or at least very close to it several times. And we always closed above this 230 level. Even though one day we went well below it, we still closed above 230, right? We never really closed below it ever since this breakout. So that's number one, right? Or number two, I guess. So I just want to hold it because it's just a strong support level. That's not a support level I'd want to lose. And of course, the third thing is the fact that, well, you don't want to fall out of this channel, right? Falling out of this channel is not something that you'd want to be, or you'd want to see as a bull. As a bear, of course, you would want to see it. So as long as those three things are maintained, ideally all three, then it's bullish. I'm feeling good, and I'm liking what I'm seeing right here, right? On top of that, you also have to remember that the bulls really want to break above about 240, just to make it simple, 240-ish, give or take $1 or $2, right? You want to break above that, right? That's an important level. You can see also many times we went here, got rejected. Then we had some candles that closed above it, right? Obviously some false breakouts there, here and there, but ultimately, like, that's a very important level. It's a nice volume profile level as well, especially once we get into the mid-ish to slightly higher 240s and especially 250s. So it's like an important level to really start breaking above, holding above, and ideally climbing slowly even higher from that, right? As opposed to just collapsing right back below like we did, for instance, these two candles right here. So that's kind of what the bulls want to see, right? The bulls want to hold those three levels I just mentioned, 21 EMA, 230 in general, and also 230 for the rising channel. The bears obviously want to do the opposite. They want to break it. Now, and the bulls to move higher, they obviously want to ideally start closing above 240 once again and really start holding above it. And then again, we're still really close to the top of the channel of this bull flag. So like I said, the more times you tap the top, the weaker the resistance, in theory at least, it gets, and the easier the chance the next time you essentially tap on that resistance level, in this case, it'll be closer to 250, the easier chance it breaks. Again, in theory, doesn't mean it has to, but that's the theory behind it. Right now, that's the main thing I'm looking at, and those are the main things I'm paying attention to. We have the 100-day moving average, of course, well above us. Now let's talk about the slightly bearish aspect. Let's say the bears win. Let's say that we do break down. Let's say we break below 230. We break out of this channel, and we have a move to the downside, which again I think is a lower probability, but not substantially lower. I would say it's about like maybe 60-40, 65-35, something like that, bullish versus bearish respectively. But absolutely still possible, which is why I'm not like all in over here and just super, super ecstatic. I'm definitely more bullish, but I'm not just like, oh my God, it's guaranteed we're going up. So let's say we do break below. What happens? Well, unfortunately, that's where things will get a little bit uglier, right? We break below 230. That's when, at the very least, in my opinion, will come down to like the 200-day moving average on the daily, which is sitting at the moment around 224, right? So minimum will come down there, like minimum. But that's not like a crazy drop. I personally think if we drop below that, we'll come back down to around the mid like 200 teens. So like 215, 16, something like that, give or take, right? Because keep in mind, when we broke out of this blue line right here, we never actually retested it, right? Remember this bearish, I think it was a pennant that we were in, the bearish pennant we were in that we actually broke to the north from. We never retested it. We never came back to retest it. So that in my opinion would be probably what would happen next. And of course, if we drop below even that, so let's say 216 roughly, give or take, right? If we even drop below that, that's when I think we'll come down to, once again, the low 200s, and we'll most likely revisit the 200-day moving average on the weekly, which at the moment is sitting around about $211. That's probably the level I'd expect us to revisit. And if we close below that, well, let's just say I'd rather not think about it as a bull, at least for now. Obviously, if we start getting close to it and it starts looking like it might actually happen, we'll discuss it. But obviously, if we do close below it on the weekly, assuming it happens, not great. Now, with that being said, let's take a look at the weekly chart, right? We just closed, of course, the Friday candle, right? Unsure how I feel about this. Honestly, a lot of wicks all the way up here. You can see every time we enter the 240s and especially the 250s, a long wicks every single time. On the bright side, we are holding above the 21 EMA on the weekly, which is great. We have arguably closed above the 100-day moving average as well on the weekly. That's not a bad sign. Ever so slightly, again, not the most convincing close in the world, but technically above it. That's pretty good. The weekly is not looking bad, and it's looking like it wants to break out. Like, in my opinion, the weekly here, it's looking pretty good. It's looking pretty good, guys. I really do think it is. The MACD, you can see, is starting to soften up even further, getting less bearish. The RSI is looking neutral. The RSI is not telling me too much information, I'll be honest. But the point is the fact that the weekly is not looking bad. It's arguably looking kind of potentially bullish here with the close above the 100-day moving average. The daily, the bulls stepped up where they really needed to, right? Again, the bears also, on top of everything else, also have a potential head and shoulders pattern setting up here. We have the left shoulder right here. We have the head, which was that move to 250 right here. And then potentially we're setting up the right shoulder here, a possibility. But the bulls still stepped in very, very nicely today. Honestly, looking pretty good too. We held the 21 EMA, so I'm still net more bullish than bearish, but I'm not ignoring the bearish aspect whatsoever. Now, taking a quick look at options flow, and then I want to take a look at the monthly chart very quickly because we obviously just finished the month. So we'll go ahead over here. Let me go ahead and increase the premium to like something much higher. Let's go to 200K premium. So this is where we have, actually we'll go a little bit lower. We'll go 100K premium. Let's do 100K premium. We'll do something like this. So we have a lot of premiums coming in. We have a lot of mixed results here too, right? We have like a 500K premium here, a 600K premium here of puts. We have a 600K premium puts here. We have a nice, where is it? Is this? I'm trying to make sure I'm on the call. Yeah, I'm on the call. 750K premium, 240 calls here. We have much longer data calls and puts here, but at a lower premium. So pretty mixed results. I'm not sure which one's higher. I mean, maybe the bearish side's a little higher, but it's pretty mixed. I wouldn't take any of these with a grain of salt too much. Again, just probably some people with deep pockets just gambling away. Who knows what they're really doing, but nothing I would really concern myself with over there. Usually around 2 million plus is where I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting, right? We're not really seeing that right now, so take that with a grain of salt. I do want to look at the monthly chart. One final thing that I want to do before we end off this video. So there's a few things here. So first and foremost, we have this blue line, right? This is kind of like the support resistance line you can see, right? We bounced off of it many times. resisted it many times, and now we're pretty much right at it, right? We closed last month pretty much right at it, came back down a little bit. Oh, sorry, this is the fresh month, my bad. Last month we actually, closed, which was this candle right here. I made a mistake there. Forgot today's the 1st of December. We closed pretty much right at it. And so far we are, of course, down a little bit, but, we're holding strong, right? We have, of course, what is this? I believe this is the 100-day moving average in the monthly, bouncing right off of it as well, which is great to see. So not looking bad. Like the monthly chart also not looking bad. But the reason I bring up the monthly chart more specifically is the fact that if you look at the last two candles, not obviously today's, ignore this one here on the right. That's just one day. It doesn't matter. This red candle here and this green candle here. This is a potentially bullish reversal signal here. What is it? It's a Harami / inside candle, right? That essentially means that in a downtrend, which is exactly what we've been in, right? Ever since July, right? We were at pretty much 300. Pretty much in a downtrend ever since then. We went from 200 to about 200 or like 194. That's a downtrend. Now we had a bounce from that downtrend in November, which is one of Tesla's best months. But it's an inside I guess, month candle, and it's also a Harami candle, which essentially means that this candle traded within the range of this candle, right? That's usually a bottom / reversal sign or signal or whatever. Obviously, you need follow through as with every other signal, but it's a promising thing as well. So there's a lot of promising signs right now that are telling me that Tesla's not looking bad, man. Tesla's not looking bad. Obviously, there's some signs of concern, like I said, right? Like breaking below this, breaking below the 230, potentially a head and shoulders pattern setting up, right? The markets are looking a little bit overextended, right? I talked to my members about this briefly, but the markets are definitely looking overextended. So, if they start pulling back, is that going to affect Tesla, or will Tesla just do its own thing? Because Tesla does like doing its own thing. Tesla likes doing the opposite of the market. It really, really does. It's such a weird stock sometimes, but it really just likes to do the opposite of the market too. So it's in its own little world a lot of the time. It really is. But regardless, it would still be technically a bit of pressure. So will that affect Tesla? Big question mark there. So that's the main thing I'm looking at. But ultimately, in my opinion, Tesla looks more bullish than bearish, obviously, right? I still think the bearish aspects are nothing to ignore, but I do think it looks more bullish than bearish. So that's the main way I'm looking at it as of right now. So let me know what you guys think down below. The last thing, let's take a quick look on the weekly, is we have, of course, yet another red circle, but the lines you can see are retreating from the bearish aspect. So we'll see. But the point is the weekly is still showing the squeeze indicator over here with the red circle. So there's still momentum, a lot of momentum actually building up. And that's going to be very interesting to see once it picks the direction. But with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please don't forget to hit that like button. But yeah, with all that being said and done, hope you have a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. Peace.